Hey guys, what's going on? It's Thursday and I have a lot to talk about. This is actually going to be part one of a two-part video series or whatever you want to call it. I'm helping my friend. His name is Me Have No Name. He asked me to give him some advice on how to lose body fat, and I'm happy to do it for him. I always tell you guys, leave me a message or comment if you ever need me to make a video for you. He obviously took advantage of that, and I'm more than happy to do it for him. I'm gonna hop right into this because I have a lot to cover. This is going to be nutrition, this episode of it or whatever. The next one I'll talk about how to work out to lose fat, but this one is nutrition, which is probably a thing that gets overlooked in most cases. A lot of people work out but don't adequately take care of themselves. The body needs fat, the body needs protein, the body needs carbohydrates. Any diet, any miracle wonder diet that you hear nowadays that tells you go low this or low that or high this, throw it out of the window. Don't listen to it. Take a deep breath, let it out, and disregard all of that. And what I mean by that is don't listen to any of that crap. It's not true. I know from personal experience, and I know from things that I practice, that you absolutely need carbohydrates, you absolutely need proteins, and you absolutely need fats. They all do something different, and they can't replace each other as far as the functions they serve in the body. I'm actually going to tell you guys what they do right now, just to give you guys a little incentive to not want to skip on those. But the first thing I want to cover is today, you have to take into consideration when you want to lose fat, you have to take into consideration what you're asking your body to do. You're asking your body to change its body composition, change its composition altogether, and you're also asking it to lose weight. Two things that the body doesn't do really good with, because we have this built-in mechanism for survival where we think that we're going to be in a famine pretty soon. And when we go into famine, our fat stores obviously are what's good for us to have, because we could survive off of those. The problem is, especially in America, is in most cases people eat to live, or actually no, I'm sorry, people live to eat, but they don't eat to live. And what that means, honestly, is we're not struggling. We're not hunting and gathering for our next food. We're not fighting for survival. In most cases, God willing, we are able to eat food every day. I know that I'm blessed to eat food, and I don't worry about where my next meal is going to come from. And I hope you guys are in the same situation. That's just how it is in our country in most cases. I know people who, I know I have at least one subscriber in Australia. Thumbs up to you. And I don't know how it is in Australia, but in America, that's how it is. We have abundance of food, and food's always available. That's just, normally how it is. And that's kind of like a backfire thing, because a lot of our foods are processed, a lot of our foods are packaged and microwavable and, frozen and all this. And it's just not the way that we were meant to eat stuff. Yeah, it tastes good. I love eating that stuff. I actually have, really high tolerance for BS food is what I like to call it, but I can't eat it all the time though, because obviously I'd weigh like 30 pounds more and really not be in the shape I'm in, so it's just not something I can do too often. Now I'm not saying you have to say, oh, I'm never eating that stuff again, but limit it as much as you can. It's just, but if you have a day where you're just like, you know what, I've been working hard, I want a day where I can just do whatever I want, go for it. It's not going to hurt you at all. It's actually going to help you, if anything. But let's see, I have so much to talk about. I'm trying to find the first thing I want to jump into. What I want to jump into now though is I want to tell you guys why these three sources of energy are important. And yes, I said three sources of energy because they all do something different in the body. Carbohydrates, first off though, are very important and are actually skipped upon in society. A lot of people frown upon them, but what they do is no laughing matter, no frowning matter. What they do for us, they actually insulate the body. And what I mean by this is when they insulate the body, a lot of people think that fat is responsible for that. But if you ever had a meal where you've eaten a lot of carbs, say you've had a lot of sandwiches, or you've eaten a lot of pancakes or something like that, a lot of pizza, and your body gets real hot, you start to heat up, that's from the carbohydrates, because what carbohydrates are is their energy. They're the energy booster. And what the body does is it begins to store it as energy. And when energy gets emitted, it's emitted as heat. That's the only way the energy can be emitted from. Heat or force, which either way is heat anyway. So, carbs are really what insulates the body, keeps our body temperature regular. The other thing that carbs are very important for is that it gives the brain something called glycogen. I like to call glycogen brain juice, because that's the only thing that our brain can adequately run off of. At least if we want to maintain focus and be normal and level-headed. We need carbohydrates, so don't be afraid of those. The other thing is protein. Protein, I like to call that the janitor of the body. And what I mean by that is The protein is really the maintenance guy. It maintains the body, it repairs the body, and it stabilizes the body. And what I mean by it stabilizes the body is it keeps us in equilibrium when we grow. Right now, especially the guy that I'm making this video for, he's about a couple years younger than I am. So I'm thinking he's about 16, 17 years old. And right now, dude, we're growing, and we are growing at a crazy rate. Our metabolic rates are through the roof right now. It's just ridiculous how much we're growing. That's just how it is right now. The thing that we have to take into consideration is with protein, it's helping us rebuild, it's helping us grow right now, it's helping us get, to our potential. So protein is very important. And also, when you work out or when you do something that's strenuous, protein helps you recover, it helps repair the muscle. And it also helps with our nails, right here. It helps with our hair, and it helps with our skin. It helps with dead skin cells and dead cells everywhere. It helps replace them, it helps get rid of them. Protein is a wonderful thing. It's an amazing thing when you really learn what it does for the body. Also, if we weren't getting adequate protein intake, our skin would get really pale. Just trust me on this one. The last but not least, though, is fat. And fat's a tricky subject. A lot of people don't like fat. A lot of people are afraid of fat. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going low fat because low fat's the way to go. Not the way to go. Fat does something very important. Number one, if we didn't eat fat, again, our skin would get very pale. And the reason why our skin would get very pale because of fat is actually a very unique reason. Fat actually allows us to absorb vitamins and minerals better and at a potency that really isn't possible without fat. If you look, okay, great sources of fat are like peanuts and almonds and just various nuts and seeds and whatnot. Those are like the best sources of fat. Some oils are good too. But, like almonds, for example, look on the back of a package of almonds. Notice what vitamins and minerals are in it. You got magnesium, you got a little bit of vitamin E, you got a little bit of A. And the reason why that's in there is because it's in the fat, and it's going to get absorbed by the fat. It's something that you need. Fat is something that you absolutely need. Fat is where it's at. So don't be afraid of any of these. The thing that I do want to tell you is, instead of being afraid of any of these, just time them at the right time. For example, for me, I like to get the majority of my carbohydrates at 2 times, when I wake up in the morning or after I work out. Now for me it's kind of a funny situation because I work out when I wake up. So I actually only have like 1 time during the day when I really get my designated dose of carbs. But honestly, before 12 o'clock, carbs are okay. Any type of carb. And I mean, I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about only eat starchy carbs. I'm talking about if it's before 12 o'clock and you want, a sandwich, or if you want some oatmeal or something, then eat it. It's okay. It's okay every other time of the day, but those are just the times I like to limit myself to eating them because then my body doesn't have a chance to store them, if you guys know what I mean. Fruit is a source of carbohydrate, but I'll eat fruit before I go to sleep. I don't give a damn. If I'm hungry at night, fruit or protein is usually the 2 things that I stick to, but I like to get my carbs in the morning though, except for fruit. Fruit, don't put any chains on fruit. Don't put any chains on vegetables. You can eat those whenever you want. Don't worry about those. Don't worry about the calories from those. Don't worry about the fat from those. Don't worry about this or that. If you're eating fruit or vegetable, just completely discount it because honestly, you're doing the best thing you could possibly do. Those are the best things that we could put in our body by far, bar none. Nothing's close. It comes from the earth, and that's all there is to it. That's how it is. Fruit, vegetables, and nuts are the 3 best things that we could put in our bodies. Yeah, I said nuts, and yes, that's what she said, but that's for another topic. But moving on, and I like to, like I said, I like to get my carbs in the morning. I like to get my fats in the middle of the day and in the end of the day, and I like to spread my protein out throughout the whole day. So in the morning, the afternoon, and the night. I generally eat about 5 or 6 times a day, maybe 7 sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And the reason why I eat my protein throughout the day is because our bodies don't store protein like we store fat and like we store carbs. The protein actually gets filtered out, so to speak, the stuff we don't use. So you'll notice actually if you begin to eat more protein, you'll have to piss more often. It's just the way of life. That's what happens. It's cleaning you out. Your liver has to process more. But if for anybody out there who's taking like a real high protein diet, I really suggest that you bump up your water intake if you're not drinking enough water, because of the fact that the water takes some strain off of the liver. What water does, water is an amazing thing. We're made out of 60% water, yet people still don't drink enough, which is really stupid. But that's just how people are sometimes. what water does is it actually allows the liver to do its real job, which is to push fat out of the body. It actually allows the kidneys to do a lot of the cleansing and a lot of the waste management, so to speak. And so when your kidneys are handling all that, your liver is actually freed up to process all the fat out of your system, thus making you lose more fat. Also, you're not going to gain water weight if you drink water. You're actually going to get rid of water weight. Water weight's determined by your sodium intake, so if you have a high sodium diet, you're going to have a lot of water weight. You could actually get rid of that by eating clean for a week and drinking a lot of water. You just piss it all out. Trust me on this one, because I've done it like many times. Especially after Thanksgiving this year, that was bad. I got like 15 pounds of water weight on me, and I just was strict for a week, drank a lot of water, and I lost all 15 of that pounds. So, you know, that's a lot of water weight, but that's what it is. It's just salt, man. Salt's a bitch. It is. Excuse my language, but that's, you know, that's the truth about it. And then obviously, you know, right now, you know, now that I've told you guys about the timing and all that, and it's tough to get the timing down, but it's okay. You know, it's you don't have to be perfect the first time around. But I'm gonna show you guys some foods that I like to eat on a daily basis, just to, you know, kind of keep me regular. Try to keep my body, you know, in peak performance condition or whatever. Well, first off, like I said, I like to eat oatmeal every morning after I work out. It's not some special type of oatmeal. It's freaking high top brand. This is the type you get with your freaking food stamps, or like if you have like a WIC or something, you can get this, you know, with it. I don't know, you know, what you guys do when you shop, so it's cheap. I got that for like under $2, and it's gonna last me for 2 weeks, which is awesome. And then okay, so you know, that's like the major source of my solid carbs that I like to get, my complex carbs. And for my simple carbs, dude, I go and I eat fruit all day. I have a really big sweet tooth, so I have to, kind of, because I'll go crazy if I don't. Raisins. I eat a lot of raisins. I eat probably a ridiculous amount of raisins, mixed berries, apples, bananas, oranges, pretty much anything that is a fruit, I will eat it. Don't care. Kiwi's really good too. I like kiwi. You just have to make sure you eat these right, and what I mean you have to eat them right is, like with an apple, for example, make sure you eat the skin. Don't freaking peel it off. The skin is actually the best part of the apple. Don't get rid of it, because you get rid of it, you're losing the fiber, and you're losing a whole lot of those phytochemicals that you need, which is something we don't even need to dive into. Just put it this way, it's good for you. You need the skin on most fruits. With the orange, I know that the white part is actually where all the good stuff is. Yes, the juice inside is great for you, but the white stuff is really where it's at. It tastes funny, but that's usually how it works for stuff that's good for you. It tastes kind of funny. For fat, I actually like to go to a couple different sources. This is peanut butter. I don't know if you guys have met, but you know, he's nice. I like him. He's one of my good friends. He's almost as big as my head. This is actually the first time we bought this type of peanut butter, but it's a big, alright, so, yeah, that was a little mix-up, but, back to what I was talking about, though. I was talking about peanut butter, and basically peanut butter is a great source of fat. It's an awesome source of fat, honestly. It's just full of good stuff. Good stuff, that's all it is. Like, if you look on the label right here, I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see it. If you look right there, on the label, there's 16 grams of fat. There's 3 grams of saturated fat. So a lot of people are like, oh my god, there's fat in there, I'm afraid of fat. Don't be afraid of fat. There's 13 grams of fat that you need. You need this fat. You don't want it, you need it. Well, I want it, but you know. But you need that. The protein, it has protein, it has fiber, it has fat. Peanut butter is pretty much a wonder food, especially for me, because I love the way it tastes, and I love what it does for my body. The next thing, though, is, you know, you could have nuts, you can have seeds. Those are my favorite sources of fat in my diet, just because I know they come from the earth, and it's always good to go that way. As far as protein, some things that I like to do for my diet would be obviously some eggs. Eggs are great. These are regular eggs. They're not some special freaking eggs that I got from like a farm and some crazy foreign land. I didn't go across the world to get them. I didn't pay like $9 for that. You know, it's really cheap. It's not something that you need to spend a lot of money on. What I like to do is I like to boil the eggs, and then I like to eat the whites. I don't like to eat the yolks, and you know, that's a great source of protein. That's actually a complete protein, and I don't want to get into that, but it's about as good as it gets when you want to eat protein. Egg whites are amazing for you. Another source of protein that I like to go to is whey protein, and generally I actually buy that protein because it's It's not some super freaking special blah blah blah. I don't like to buy into the mumbo jumbo. You don't need to buy into the hype of stuff. You don't need to get caught up in all that. Really, what it comes down to is, does the food do what you want it to do? Whey protein, that whey protein, for example, is just pure whey protein. It doesn't have anything else in it. It's just protein, and it gets used the way it needs to be used. It's not some top of the line thing. It's just, it does what it needs to do. So I hope this helps you guys. If you guys want me to, go in depth more, I will. This video is going to be way too long, and there's going to be a second part to this, which is the working out part of it all. But I just wanted to show you guys some foods that I normally eat. Wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope that this helps whoever's watching this. If you're trying to lose fat, I know it's difficult, but your diet is probably, I don't want to say it's more important than working out, but it is very important. They go hand in hand, and stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 will cover what you want to do when you're working out to lose the most fat. So I hope you guys have a nice day, and take it easy.